Of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. On today's episode, coming to you from the makeshift studio at my dad's house, we're going to talk about what things we need to see both offensively and defensively from the Chicago Bulls in their upcoming preseason game against the Denver Nuggets. We're going to get into all that and some more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, fellas and ladies and gents, whatever it is? You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me on Chicago Bulls Central. You guys know I couldn't stay away for too long, even if with me being out of town for my sister's wedding. I got to get this content out because, listen, this is what I do. I'm the content king. Who's the content king if I'm not delivering content? Period. It is what it is there. But we got Bulls versus Nuggets coming up tonight. And so it's a very exciting game. We had I saw a lot from the rookie that we wanted to see in Dalen Terry. Got a lot from him. Javonte Green seems like he's ready to make a leap and possibly, be a big part of the six-man rotation for the Chicago Bulls coming off the bench. But we need to talk about what we need to see improvements from the Chicago Bulls, both offensively and defensively, going into this next team. And while the Bulls did a lot of good things, working through Nikola Vucevic, using him more as a post presence down low, he still took 4 3-point shots in the last game, right? He was 2 for 4 in those 3-point shots, but they came more in rhythm, right? We got to see Vooch really doing what he needed to do down in the post and working in that down low game. His passing was a big part of that. He caught Javonte Green on a lot of cuts in the last game. So those are the type of things that we want to see from Nikola Vucevic, and that's a positive thing. But almost everything outside of that, at least in the starting lineup, was a lot of questions. No ball movement that we wanted to see aside of a few key players. DeMar DeRozan was DeMar DeRozan, so that's definitely a positive as well. But looking at like Zach LaVine, other than like a 2 to 3 minute stretch at the end of the second quarter where Zach just decided to all of a sudden be Zach LaVine, he seemed pretty lackadaisical out there. And yeah, it's first preseason game, understand that type of thing. But those are the things that we want to see this team work better with. We want to also see the bench. Some of the best times that we had in ball movement in that last game was when Alex Caruso was out there on the court. So if we can get that from Alex Caruso again, playing through him on that bench unit, maybe Andre Drummond being a little bit more as well, like just not seeming as out of sync as what he was in that last game. There were times where it seemed like, hey, Drummond was going to roll to the basket, maybe get some easy ones, but it just didn't seem like we had quite the Andre Drummond that we were expecting. So if we can see those type of things improve from the Chicago Bulls in this next game, that's going to bode well for us. And we want to see them like work in that offensive scheme, more ball movement. That's going to be some of the things that make this team dangerous. When you look at the success that we did have in that game, it was when it came off ball movement. I already talked about Javonte Green and what he did, Dalen Terry getting out in transition, causing those type of things. So this team on offense, I want to see actually have an offensive scheme. It seems like it was first preseason game. Maybe they were taking a little bit easy there purposely. I don't know. That's not an excuse to get you too far off. We need to start seeing what this offense is going to look like. What type of shape is it going to take outside of just DeMar and Zach? And the shooting outside of those two guys really left a lot to be desired. Ayo Dosunmu looks like he's poised to take a leap, and we want to see that kid from Chicago. We want to see him succeed. But like as the point guard on the court, yes, play the ball a little bit more through DeMar, through Vooch, but we need to see him hit open shots, take those shots a little bit more aggressively. Patrick Williams, same thing with that. Patrick Williams took 7 shots in 15 minutes, I think it was. Don't have the minutes off the top of my head. He's averaged only 7 shots per game for his career. So we know that like he took more shots than what we usually see from him. He didn't hit it at the best clip. So I don't know how many minutes he's planning on playing, but I want to see Patrick Williams hit those shots a little bit, take it to the cup a little bit more than what he did. To show like he's ready, that aggression. Like he showed, like I said, I don't want to sound too down on it because he showed it for a little bit. He just didn't hit the shots, but I want to see that same thing. I want to see that continue for the Chicago Bulls. Nobody else is going to make any shots. If people aren't taking them, if DeMar and Zach are going to be in preseason mode, regular season mode, we then need to see Patrick Williams show the growth that we've heard that he's ready to make. We need to see it. We need to see that actually take shape. And that's offensively a lot of what I want to see from the Chicago Bulls from that, because it's needed. We need to see that, right? We need to see the growth. We need to see what this identity is going to be offensively from this team. We know that we don't have a lot of the best take people off the dribble players as far as scorers on this team, but the ones that we do, DeMar, Zach, they give us something, but we have to have ball movement outside of those. And a person who could be a big piece of that, while his minutes may be getting taken by the rook, is Coby White. Kobe White did not play a lot, so it's not fair to judge his performance in a minute and 50 seconds, right? It's just not fair to do. But if Kobe's going to be playing, which it does seem like he's on track to play against the Nuggets, that MRI was precautionary, we need to see Kobe White come out and be that scorer off the bench. I've said this before. Kobe White scoring off the bench in the way that he can, if he does so consistently, those 12 to 15 points per game, Kobe White can give us, and even more than that if he's going to be more consistent because his percentages are pretty good, can completely change the dynamic of what the Chicago Bulls team and offense looks like, especially coming off the bench. But I tell you this, Javonte being locked in like he was, what we saw from Javonte Green as a bench player, which is something that I've been saying since last season, is that moving Javonte to the bench can make Javonte even more of a dangerous player. And if we get that Javonte Green, if that's going to be consistently how we see Javonte, having a Kobe White that can score in that way is going to do even more for the Chicago Bulls. So hopefully we see those type of things as well. And then if Kobe isn't, like I said before, that rookie, Dalen Terry, is ready to go. And I want to see Dalen Terry also get off the bench a little bit earlier for the Chicago Bulls. The energy he provided, the court vision, the passing. He could have easily had about 6 assists in that game. There were certain passes where other people didn't hit shots, but Dalen Terry, what he can be, I want to see that against better competition. He played against second and third string guys in that first preseason game, and I want to see him, consistently work that way up. He can be used at least 3 different positions right now. We know AK eventually wants to see him play some small ball 4 as well, but at least right now, Dalen can play the 1, 2, and 3 today. So to see Dalen Terry get off the bench a little bit more, to see what he can do as far as getting easy buckets for the team, basket buckets. I kind of mixed the 2 words together there, but in what he can do with his court vision, with the defense, with the steals, and just how he can lift the team, right? I want to see some of Dalen Terry and Kobe White out there together with Alex Caruso. I want to see some of that too. That's kind of some of the things I want to see from this team offensively. Now, defensively, I need to see everything. We didn't see, outside of the second and third string guys in the fourth quarter, which was supposed to be garbage time. They made that game a very interesting and fun game. We didn't see a lot of positive defensively from this team at all. The perimeter defense was suspect. The interior defense was suspect, as it was last season. We need to see those things improve. If you're not going to be the best interior defensive team, you have to be great on the perimeter. You have to stop at the point of attack, at the transition. You have to see that. Come here, nephew. Come here. My nephew think he was bring him over, Trish. He can come. It's fine. Come here, nephew. Hey, nephew. But yeah, we want to see. You see yourself? We want to see the team improve defensively, and then we just want to see them do better on that defensive end of the ball. We talked about this team building their identity defensively. That's been one of the things Billy Donovan has been focused on this offseason, and we did not see that in the first preseason game. So in the second preseason game, we can see that come along. That's going to bode well for us as we go towards the regular season. We have to start building those habits now. The communication on defense was severely lacking. We want to see that improve as well. Ain't that right, nephew? So you want to see the Bulls play some defense? You're just looking at yourself in the camera? But yeah, so we want to see those things improve, and defensively the Bulls have a lot that they need to work on, and that's kind of what I want to see in the second preseason game is the defense. The offense I think is going to take care of itself over the course of the season. I really want to see a team that's locked in defensively, that's giving effort on all sides of the ball. Oh, your cousin's in there crying. Go to mama. And so if we can see that team lock in defensively, make some improvements in those areas, it's going to do well. And we need to see that. It can't just be our defense goes completely out the window if Lonzo Ball's out there. The communication on defense is a huge part of that. I do think Dalen Terry is going to provide some of that, but you don't want to rely on a rookie to do that. You have veterans on this team that are getting paid tons of money. That communication needs to be there. So whether that's forcing a better defensive IQ, whatever it is, we need to see that come along for the Chicago Bulls team on the defensive end of it, and the energy. We need to see all of that. Javonte, Dalen, they're going to be locked in defensively, as well as Io, Alex Caruso. We all know what they can give defensively, but it has to be effort outside of that. I've told this, and one of the things that I've been talking about all preseason is the defensive leap that I need to see from Zach LaVine. And that's not necessarily all of a sudden becoming this lockdown defender every game, but the effort consistently being there defensively. Him and DeMar, they have to lead and start building that identity through them. They have to be giving their all on the defensive end. They are the veterans on this team. DeMar is the one that everybody looks towards. Zach, this team is built around him and is going to be. He's locked in for the next 5 years. So we need to see consistent effort from them, even in preseason games, to really set that tone and that identity for the Chicago Bulls. All right, so with that being said, let's move out of the game. That's what I want to see from them. The rotation as well. I talked a little bit about that. I just want to see Dalen Terry get into that rotation a little bit earlier, play against better competition. I want to see something from that. And Marco, I know, listen, it says a lot of what Billy Donovan thinks about Marco Simonovic with the fact that Tony Bradley and Kostas Antetokounmpo got off the bench before Marco Simonovic. That is a hell of a bunch of names to say back to back like that as well. But so I want to see Marco Simonovic work his way into that rotation, get out. Like, it has to be trial by fire. If he's gonna suck, he's gonna suck. But we need to see. We don't need any more of these question marks of what can or will Marco do. Put him out there. He's not going to learn any. I've said it before. He's not going to learn anything else from the G League. He's not going to learn anything there. He's shown what he can do down there. We know the skill set. He has to get ready for NBA competition and play against NBA players, even if it is the second and third string guys. We need to see Marco Simonovic hopefully crack that rotation. At least that's what I want to see. I want to see Marco, because when you look at this team and what they lack sometimes scoring wise, Marco can bring some of that coming off the bench sparingly, right? You don't want to, I'm not saying Marco needs to play 10, 15 minutes or whatever. This is preseason, though. You want to try to work him into that, especially like Gordon didn't look great. Andre Drummond looked out of sync. We think those things are going to come along. Preseason games, they're veterans, so maybe they weren't taking it seriously. But I do want to see that. I want to see the rotation improve a little bit as well. But, let's move on from that. Kobe White, the MRI, like I said, Kobe is at a threat to lose some minutes right now if he does not come in and play well for this Chicago Bulls team. Billy Donovan's talked very well and positive about Kobe White this whole offseason, this whole training camp. And I know that Kobe is going to get every chance to succeed on this team, and no, not just to increase his trade value, because Kobe's skill set can really help this team a lot. But I tell you what, Dalen Terry provided more energy. White doesn't provide the shooting Kobe White does. He provided baskets, get easier baskets for other people because he's a better passer. Dalen Terry brings a lot of the positive things that we need to see from a bench player. And that if the other players around him are locked in offensively and defensively, Dalen Terry can get more out of those players. But you don't want to put all that on a rookie. Kobe has to play some. He has to get in rhythm. And luckily, it looks like he's going to play against the Nuggets. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Like I said, I would like to see him and Dalen and Caruso out there some together, with Drummond able to, if they're missing shots, Drummond able to get the rebounds. Who's going to play the four in that case? We'll work that out. But I want to see that rotation and that lineup start building some chemistry, because I do think Dalen Terry, much like Ayo Dosunmu, is going to get some minutes to start the season, especially if Gordon is not playing well. He looked old, out of sync out there. You want to go with the rookie who really is a Swiss Army knife in the sense that he can fit in so many different lineups. Like, Dalen makes the way that you play everybody else easier, because he can fit in seamlessly almost any other area. So that's kind of what I want to see from the rotation from the Chicago Bulls team. And then lastly, before we go today, Lonzo Ball being back at the Advocate Center after surgery. This does not mean his timelines get pushed up any, but it's good to have him around the team, have him in those situations. Hopefully he's going to be in there watching tape with the team, learning the identity of this team, what our focus is offensively and defensively, and soaking in that type of thing so that when he's ready to go, he knows. And Lonzo's one of the highest basketball IQ players in the NBA. He's going to know the plays. He's going to know how to run things. But it's good just to have him around the team, around the practices, soaking that in, being a part of that. Because, listen, Lonzo Ball is a big part of what the Chicago Bulls team can and will be this season and in the future. So it's good that he's back at the Advocate Center. Good that he's back in Chicago. Hopefully that healing and this process that he went through makes that timeline for his return a little bit more clear. We'll see. We're about a week now into the 4 to 6 week time period of him being reevaluated. So hopefully everything is going on track for him there. But it's good that he's back in Chicago in the Advocate Center, soaking everything up. But that is it for me for today, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm the king of C Red Nation, man. This is Chicago Bulls Central, the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related because of you guys. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, you can leave a text and or voicemail. The number to do so, 773-270-2799. Now, the mailbag episode will be a little bit late this week, but I still get it out to you guys nonetheless, as I am in California visiting family. I love you guys, man. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.